Podcast and 1130 Entertainment presents Beyond 1130.
Yo, what it do, everybody? Welcome back to another edition, you guys, of Beyond 1130. It's your host, Dre, aka Dre on Wheels. Appreciate everyone joining me this week here. Like I said, on a new episode of Beyond 1130. If you're new to the show and if you haven't done so already, man, definitely hit that subscribe button down below, like it, leave a comment, and do all that great stuff, man. For real. Yo, last episode of Beyond 1130, where I had Tanya on, Rosie from Mama Life, Kofi Weaston, I always say Kofi Kingston, from the Dirty Hills podcast, and also Dr. Shock Lou, from Shock Lou Dreams. Shout out to all you guys. Appreciate you guys coming on the premiere episode of Beyond 1130. But you guys, man, we're here with episode 2. And like I said, man, this grown folks are talking on this episode. And here on Beyond 1130, we talking sex, we talking parenting, we talking relationships, etc. All that great stuff, man. But I'm not alone, you guys. I'm joined with my guys from Friends with Billy, all things relationship. The panel is here. I'm gonna introduce my guy first, my man Billie G. What's going on with you, my guy?
What's going on, Dre on Wheels? What's going on? Thanks for having me back, man.
Hey man, I appreciate it. Appreciate you coming through. And also the mob, like I said, with Friends with Billy, all things relationship. I got Biggz, man. Biggz, what's going on?
What it do, my brother?
How's everything?
We Gucci, man. We out here. You see the championship belt? We out here taking names.
Oh man, I gotta wrestle for you. I gotta wrestle you for that belt, man. I like it.
Listen, man, I'm the Black D Malenko. You gonna be in so many holes before you even know what happened, baby.
I like it. Okay, and we have Dr. B. How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for having us. We're about to have some fun.
Oh yeah.
We are about to have some fun. Once again, appreciate you guys joining me here on the second episode here of Beyond 1130, where we're gonna be talking all things, sex, relationship, parenting, all that. But this is episode 2. We're gonna dive into some topics, you guys, here. In the relationship side, man, we're gonna get it on, okay? All right, let's get it. First topic, you guys. Before we dive into everything, we was talking a little bit before. I had Billie G Williams on the main podcast show, the 1130 podcast, and I also have Dr. B and Biggz here. You guys want to tell a little bit about yourselves before we dive into some stuff?
I give that to my beautiful panel.
That's this.
Well, my name is Dr. B. I really am a doctor. A lot of people ask, are you really a doctor? Yes, I am. I'm actually a clinical sexologist working in private practice. Basically, a clinical sexologist helps people grow sexually. I obtained my PhD over the years, and my background is in mental health as well. So I do licensed mental health counseling too. So everything from depression, anxiety, you name it, kink, BDSM. That's my avenue. So that's what I do for a living. I speak, breathe, live, have sex. That's what I do. So
be careful in the comments. Be careful with the comments.
Please be careful. Please be careful.
What we on right now?
Please be careful.
We here on YouTube. I like it. Okay, Biggz.
Yes, sir. Biggz the philosopher, also known as the Bronx Bully. I educated 2 bachelor degrees, one in recreational administration, one in elementary education, grades K through 12. My field of study is child development, but I have been doing security for obvious reasons, also with the paper for about 20 years. This is not a made-up persona. I talk this because I walk this. So if you come at me in the credits, you will get a call back. I am about that life.
Okay, I appreciate it, Biggz, and also Dr. B. Smooth introduction. Okay, first topic we're gonna dive into, you guys, toxicity in relationships. Whoever want to go first.
I think I'll take this one because I actually just got called that recently by someone that I actually used to talk to years ago. We actually ran across each other just randomly. in the streets, and we catching up, doing all those things, and of
Mhm.
course, we run into an ex or whatever. You can always kind of revisit the past, and the word toxicity came up. I was like, "Who, me? Like, I'm like the nicest guy ever." But as I've done our podcast, Friends with Billy podcast, All Things Relationship, make sure you tune in every Monday at 8 o'clock on YouTube, Spotify, and Twitter. We get into all of these type of topics, man. And when you really explore, a lot of us have a little bit of toxicity in us, but I think the goal is always to improve on those things because, as we all know, nobody's perfect.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
I found out over my years of dealing with relationships and everything that most people who like to claim that you're toxic are deflectors. There's a lack of accountability in the world, not just in relationships. So no one can really look at themselves and be like, I am the problem. They got to point the finger at everybody else but themselves.
Mm,
That's facts right there. A lot of people don't want to take accountability though. Okay.
yeah,
All right.
facts. You
And
know
that was our last episode. Was about
It really
accountability. That was
was.
our last topic
It
that we
really
covered.
was.
Yeah.
it really was. And here's the thing. I always come from a woman's perspective, right? We as women, we're taught that we can't do no wrong, right? As women, we're groomed like we can't do no wrong, but women, we could be just as toxic as men can, and men can be just as toxic as women can. You know, I think a lot of people don't know that they're toxic because they lack self-awareness. They think they can't really figure out like what's the problem. And a lot of people, they don't want to take the time to look at themselves to even see if they're the problem. So I mean, it's a lot that come with that. You got to look at your background, you got to look at your patterns, you got to look at your history. I've been toxic before, early.
Everybody has.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I
Everybody
don't.
has.
Yeah. Everybody has, but are they? Would they admit that they, are, in certain situations, and when it could be a disagreement or you just not getting along, it's just no one could admit when the other one or the person is wrong or not. It's just a whole lot of toxic going on, and I feel like relationships, communication and comprehending
Ooh,
is a big thing. We can communicate all day long, but if you don't understand me though, I think that's where we gotta. I ain't gonna say a problem though, but we could work on some things though, because you know
I agree.
you could be talking to somebody all day and it's just going in one end out the other though.
hmm,
But if they comprehending everything you're saying, and then maybe we could work from there.
I
But
like
it also goes back
Uh,
to the accountability issue because
yeah.
they do hear you when you be talking to them, but a lot of toxic people have the angle that they're gonna change you
that.
to fit them. And
Mm,
that's a dead end street right there in itself because no matter what you say, no matter how much sense it makes, they're gonna listen, but they're not gonna hear.
hmm You're right. I dig it. I dig it. And also people, trying to change other people, when they get, in these situations though, just gotta learn how to just figure out people, not necessarily figure out people, but uh once you grow with them and it's not so much, stuff going on like toxicity and stuff. Like I'm trying to find the right word though, but I
No, I got
hope you
you.
guys
Toxic. You said it right.
You
Toxic.
said it right.
Tell it
Toxic as fuck.
toxic.
I wanna share something, and I often tell this story on the podcast. Years ago, man, I was having struggles in my dating experience, man, and Dr. B is family. I don't always like to take advantage that I have a family member that I can reach out to for guidance on certain things, but I definitely reached out to her in frustration about these types of issues in my own personal relationships, and she gave me some of the greatest advice that I still utilize to this day. She was like, a lot of people don't work on themselves when they're not in a relationship. So when you get the relationship that you're looking for, you can navigate a little better because you've done the work necessary to be healthy and productive in your relationship. So that's something that I'm always trying to do. I'm always just trying to be better, even if I'm not in a relationship, just be a better individual. So when I get into the relationship, I can be better equipped to navigate
is
through it.
yeah, I get what you're saying. Is it also because some people, don't want to be alone also?
Hmm.
So then
That's a
they
fact.
go from,
That's a
one,
big thing.
Yeah, they go from one relationship to another and don't realize, they didn't really heal themselves at all.
Mhm.
And now when you're in that relationship now, the guy or now the woman, now trying to pick up broken pieces of you and trying to figure out like what
You
really
might
was going
you,
on.
you might trigger Biggz with that one, man. You got to be careful with those, man. Biggz might get
He got
triggered.
that belt on his shoulder shaking.
Yeah, that's like his shield. His shield, like Captain America.
Mhm.
That's his shield right there.
But you're right though. But here's the thing too: when you're unhealed, you attract unhealed people. You
Mm,
gotta look why you keep
Say that again. Jesus Christ.
mm.
when you're unhealed and you keep attracting this certain type of people. I can't figure out why I keep attracting them. Well, maybe you need to look inside yourself and figure out what is it about you
The whole fact.
attracting those type of people. Like me, naturally, I am a healer. This is why I do what I do. It's no coincidence. However, that doesn't mean that negates me from attracting past trauma. So you got to be really, really self-aware and know what's going on inside of yourself. So that way you don't have to worry about, oh, this person lacks comprehension. No, they don't lack comprehension. You just found someone that was just like you. So of course they're not going to listen.
Mm.
Like that.
Big time. That's a whole fact.
Dr. B warmed up early.
Warmed up early.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I like that. Big, you got something to say about it?
I mean, so I made a joke like we was talking about. You attract people like you. You do attract the energy you put out there. A pimp can find a hole anywhere on earth. He don't even got to look for it. He could spot it in a crowd and be like, "That's the one." So the energy that you're permeating out there, you're gonna reciprocate what you're putting out. So it is about you fixing yourself to fix the energy you let off. Energy has to travel. It can't stay contained. So it's not about you keep getting the wrong people. You keep letting off the wrong energy. You got to fix yourself. Then the right people will start coming back to you.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I do. You got to put out the right energy, man. You don't put out the right energy and you put out all that negative energy. It's definitely gonna come back to you though. Okay, we're gonna move on, you guys, here on the show. What's a deal breaker? What is the biggest deal breaker, in a relationship for you guys, man?
Are we talking about?
Get that one first.
Are we talking about in totality, or we're talking about sexual, or we're talking about a myriad of both?
Myriad of both.
Okay, I want to know how I want to answer this. I want to know the right way to answer this. Yeah, Dr. B. Yeah.
A deal breaker in a relationship, a lack of integrity. To me, if you have integrity about yourself, all else will follow. Meaning you're truthful, even when it hurts. You have honesty. You work on yourself. You don't lie to yourself. Your advantages and disadvantages in the relationship. You know what you can and you cannot do. I think if you have a lot of integrity, everything else will kind of follow. So for me, a deal breaker in a relationship is dealing with a man who lacks integrity. Number one. Even in the bedroom too. If you know you ain't about that life, don't be trying to put on. You really not into it. That's
Message. Message.
On the podcast this morning.
Listen, a dude would say anything to get some buns, man.
Yeah, but these are classified buns. You got to be on a certain level for these buns. These might not be the. You think you want these buns? These might not be the buns you ready for.
Listen, my shirt today talks about my height, right? It's like I can do everything except for reach the top of the damn shelf. I'm short. I'm only 5 feet. I'm not going to be out here pretending like I'm taller than I am. Well, the same goes to a lot of other things too. Just, you got to know where you lack it. I'm not the best at everything. Some things that I don't like. So certain things that just turn me off. I'm not going to be like, yeah, I like it. You get in the bedroom, you like, oh, that was whack. I'm not going to do that. You got to
accept it. No whackness right now.
Yeah, no whack.
You want to go next, Biggz? On that?
Yeah, for me, a deal breaker is a lack of authenticity. I can't be out here being everything that you need me to be and you don't reciprocate. I've lived that a couple of times. That's part of my trauma. I'm never doing that shit again. So if you want the diamond ring, you better be putting in the diamond ring effort all the time. No days off, no breaks. That's it.
Okay.
Let me see. For me, with the deal breaker thing, I always encourage people to get 5 deal breakers and hope for 3. So I'm gonna say my 3. And I know everybody gave 1, but I'm gonna give 3. My 3 is humbleness. Like I'm not that. That's like non-negotiable for me. If you're not humble, I can't even do it. Um, Plays well with others, meaning you're not just closed off. It's not all about you all the time. And also just a good teammate. I want to know that my partner got my back no matter what. So if I know I can rely on you for those three things, then I'm good to go. I can work with that.
Okay. Yeah. Them are definitely dope deal breakers, For me, obviously, respect, because as a man, you want respect both ways, you just don't want to be in a relationship and now you just talking, y'all just going at each other and there's no respect in between it. So it's gonna turn out bad anyway, and just like Billy said, also, have someone having your back and someone who just be in your corner, just loving you and also, ride with you and stuff like that. Like my fiance right here, kind of like, peeping in on the show.
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
what they talk
Hi.
about.
Hi, fiance. Hey.
hey,
Hi.
she said, hey, yeah, but like a ride or die, man. And I think, certain things, like I was saying, communication, just let's talk about things, when stuff not, going right. Let's work it out. Let's just not be like, oh, you know what? Oh man, just forget about it. Or I'm just gonna move on with it. I think a lot of relationships, last and go on with just working things out and just being honest too. And I think with Dr. B, when she was saying 2 5 feet, I'm not gonna act like I'm 6 feet. A lot of people don't want to just be themselves though, and they get in these situations, in these relationships, and by being someone else and then realizing like, hold up, wait a minute, this ain't really me. I gotta and then the other person actually starts seeing your true colors and stuff. So just be yourself for real,
Mm-hmm.
and that's one thing that I bring to the just being myself. My fiance say I'm a little blunt sometimes, but I don't actually I don't think I am. But hey, that's
Hey,
Hey, big,
work
big.
on being a little blunt and make it a lot blunt. Piss everybody off, bro. Piss
Don't
Hey,
do
big.
everybody off.
don't
Hey,
do that.
Biggs.
Piss
Biggs has this.
everybody off.
Don't do that.
Biggs has this great name, or I should say, comment that he always says when we have this particular topic. He always says that most people, when it comes to like dating and courting and all of that, you meet a person's avatar. You don't really meet the real person. You always meet the avatar, and once you get past the avatar, that's like the real person who you probably got yourself involved with. And a lot of times, by the time you get to that, that's when the toxicity and all the stuff that we were just talking about start to show itself. So it's kind of interesting.
On many of occasions, I've been sitting next to a lady and be like, "This is not at all the person I've been dating for 2, 3 weeks. How
Mm,
the fuck did we get here?"
mm. They be like, surprise, bitch. And you like, surprise.
Right? Like, yo, what the fuck? Like, I'll be right back. I ain't coming back. I ain't coming back. I ain't coming back.
Where your twin at? What happened to her? Like, what happened?
Shoulder shrugs. What you want me to do? I hope you got Uber money. I gotta go.
No,
I,
wait, me.
Nah, I came for the avatar. I don't know you, bitch. I gotta go.
I dig it. I dig it. All right, you guys. A topic, and a sort of a topic and a video that I played last week for my guests, and it's sort of a topic that we're gonna be talking about throughout the season here on Beyond 11:30. But I'm gonna play this video, and I want to give you guys opinions right afterwards.
All got to take accountability because we got a lot of men out here to be simping. Uh,
Mhm.
but it's two. They was raised by a single mother too, and I've always said this too, not to diss women at all. So before women start throwing jabs or getting hot and whatever, this is not to diss any of y'all, man. I'm just stating some real facts. One thing a man cannot do is make a little girl into a woman. Unless you're doing like that sexual stuff, but we're not even getting into any of that. I'm just saying, talking to her and showing her how to be a woman. Only a woman can
Mhm.
do that. But there's one thing definitely that you cannot do either is turn a boy into a man.
That's where it's
And they can't,
shifty.
you know, and it's not to diss them. Like I'm saying, once again, it's not to diss you ladies, because
Not to diss, because I was raised
by a single mother.
Yes,
Here we go.
yes, I was
Here
too.
we go. And you know, a lot of things I had to learn the hard way. I had to learn the hard way.
Powerful.
All right. Everyone on the panel, whoever want to go first.
I think
I'll
I
jump
want to
on
jump
that
on
one.
that one first.
Okay.
Go ahead, Billy. Go ahead,
I
Billy.
think I want to go first on that one. All right, so we have 2 episodes that we did on the show. We did an episode called Black Fathers Matter, and then we also did an episode called The Kevin Samuels Effect. Rest in peace to Kevin Samuels. Unfortunately, when he passed away, there was this big story about how his mom didn't even know he passed away. So we did a kind of tribute episode of Kevin Samuels, and we got into the whole mother's boy thing. And me and Biggz, we talk about this all the time on the show. We are proud members of the single mother parent club. And I like what your guest said about fathers not being able to teach daughters how to be women, and let's just get into the weird stuff, which we're gonna not go down that rabbit hole. But I just thought that was a really powerful statement, because that's not something that you hear all the time. You often hear the single mother narrative, and I can't teach my son how to be a man, and I did it on my own, and all of this stuff. But I think with the single dads raising daughters, I think that one is very interesting, and that's a topic I would definitely love to revisit on another day. But the single parent thing, we all know it's not helping our young people at all. It's not helping. It is much healthier and much more productive to have 2 willing and able-bodied parents in the house raising that kid and giving them the best opportunity to succeed in life, especially in relationships. Seeing a healthy dynamic between mom and dad, even if you're not together. Just a respectful, cordial relationship, I think, can do nothing but great things for our young people.
I agree.
So I'm this is the part of the show where I normally piss a lot of people off.
Okay.
How can I frame this?
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, hi. Trapped in the closet, coming out the closet. Women can raise boys to be gentlemen. Men raise men to be men. Let me explain what I mean by that. Women have the tools, just like men have the tools with daughters, to raise beautiful and respectful human beings that could go out and be pillars in society. But that manhood question comes from a man. I was raised by a single mother and a single grandmother, 2 strong Black women. They did a wonderful job, in the 90 percentile. That 10% came from my uncles. All right? That when you getting jumped, when you got somebody bullying you, stop crying, go back the next day and whip their fucking ass, that came from my uncles. How to walk around in the streets, how to let it be known without being over bodacious. I might not be the one you want to fuck with. How to walk it like you talking that swagger. That came from my uncles. Women don't raise men by themselves. Sorry, ladies. Let me bust your bubble. You do it. You do it. You do a great job. You do a great job. But there's always a Mr. Willie around to take care of a child that's not his. So we can stop that narrative right now. Okay? The Mr. Willie taking you to your T-ball games and to your basketball games. Whenever something's broken in the house, he automatically comes and fix it and don't want no money from mom. He getting paid a different way. Okay? This is a community thing. It takes a village to raise a child. You didn't do it by yourself. You had it hard. You did a majority of things about yourself, and you need to be commended and authenticated and revered. But you didn't do it by yourself.
Dr. B, you sure you want to follow that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not?
All right.
In psychology, we have a term called modeling. So modeling is just basically where the person that's sitting in front of you will imitate you in a certain way, because that's how human beings are naturally. We did an episode on our podcast where I talked about the unfortunate part that a lot of women will raise men, their boys, to be their husbands and not raise them to be
Facts.
somebody else's husband.
Jesus
The same
Christ.
thing goes for as far as like some men will raise little girls to be their wives instead of somebody else's wife. And so the thing about that's the problem with single parenthood. It doesn't mean that your child can't be successful, but you have to be mindful that you cannot model certain behavior for them. I have a son. There's certain behaviors that I can't model for him because naturally I'm a woman. It has nothing to do with whether or not he's going to be successful, right? Because a lot of this is nature versus nurture, but you have to know your limitations. So when he was talking about like the whole simping, like sometimes I think our society gets so caught up on the words like simping and beta and the alpha and all of that. But what you really have to understand is the context of what he was saying and what you guys were talking about. Men, we're not talking about grown males. We're talking about men, and men have certain attributes. We're not talking
Exactly.
about grown females. We're talking about women, and women have certain attributes. I learned how to cook at a very early age. I can remember 3. My great grandmother put me to the stove, and my mother flipping out. Like, what are you doing? She could get burnt. She all right, but she gonna learn how to cook.
Facts.
She gonna learn how to cook this chicken. She gonna learn how to knead this dough. She's gonna learn how to sew, because when she gets older and have her own family, I need her to be able to be the woman of her household. Same thing with my brother. My father didn't play that with my brother. You're gonna have to learn how to be the man of the family. And if you cannot listen, then you get the F out of my house. And that's just street raising. So a lot of times when we look at certain things, you have to be mindful that it's certain things as a human being that you can't model for another individual. So if a man comes to me as a grown male, I can't model that behavior for him. I can tell him all day what it means to be a man, but he can't see it within me. So he's just,
and that's important. And that's very important. A lot of people, you take a sports at it, right? I played basketball. I started with baseball. I had a growth spurt. I started playing basketball. Before I knew I was good, I knew I could do certain things. And the confidence I got was looking at the players that I was emulating and copying their moves. So once I got the Olajuwon spin, left to right, right to left, middle of the floor, once I got the footwork from a young LJ, when I finally mastered to a certain degree that baseline fade away from Jordan, I was walking around in the streets like I was the shit. You couldn't knock me off my pedestal because I learned from modeling. And that's all we're really saying, yo. If you have that in your household or somewhere in your nest, you're gonna gravitate to that. I can't gravitate to Dr. B. I don't have titties. I'm not curvaceous, but I can gravitate to Billy. I look somewhat like Billy, so I'm gonna go start following Billy.
I'm his evil twin, by the way.
Super facts. Superman and Bizarro all the time.
Oh man, I dig all you guys' point of views, and it was just about everyone said the same thing. I was raised by a single mom and stuff, and she did everything, man, to her damage, to raise me. But some stuff that I did learn, far as as a growing up as a man, was from my brothers, or maybe a couple of uncles that I had and stuff like that. So I thought that was really interesting that Bigz said that it's always a Mr. Willie around.
There's always a Mr. Willie around.
Boy,
or Mr. Earl. There's somebody with a Cadillac that knows your favorite candy for no fucking reason. Like how the fuck you know me so well? Because you got intel. That's why. I go to bed at 9. I don't know what the fuck is happening.
Mr. Reginald gonna come by and give you a haircut.
Okay, good old Reggie. Good Mr. Reggie, yo. How you know I like pink starbursts? Oh, you the man. Good looking. You going right to the source. You know exactly what the fuck I like. You know my shoe size. You know my fucking shirt size.
They be having them oldest.
Facts.
Yeah, Reginald.
My mom. I remember, God rest my mother's soul, when I was like 8 years old, she had a male friend, air quotations, called Bruce. You know how old you gotta be that your name
Yeah,
is
Bruce,
Bruce?
one of them old strong men.
That's damn near biblical. That's the nigga that followed Moses down with the goddamn commandments.
Bruce sound like a strong dude, man. That's like a
Yo,
strong
that
motherfucker. His
that
name is Bruce.
this nigga was skinny. This nigga was skinny with a toothpick. This nigga will whip everybody's ass, nigga. You throw that nigga in the cage with a
I bet.
lion, that nigga coming out with the shit. That nigga coming out with the Jaffe Joffa, nigga. You kidding me? Wasn't nobody fucking with Mr. Bruce? You kidding me?
Oh man, that's facts right there. I can definitely man. Me laughing is oh man. I know what you're talking about. I know what you're
Like,
talking
there's
about.
always like one or two in your childhood. You just don't recognize it. You gotta go back and be like, oh, you sneaky motherfucker, you. Okay, I got you, mom. I see where I get it from. No problem. I got you.
Okay, I got you. I got you. Doctor B, you said something that was that hit something because I'm going to talk about. Was going to talk about it last week, but you was also saying something about you know how certain daughters are being raised to not be a wife for their husband and stuff like that. And it was this one thing I saw on social media. I don't know if you guys could see this or not, though,
Let me
but
see
it
it.
was like if my son grows up and think I come first, I have failed as a mother. And I wanted to give you guys thoughts on this, especially the comment at the bottom. I would never want my son to put me before his family ever, even his fiance slash wife. Period. You're supposed to raise your son to grow up and raise his own family. Only women who feels differently are ones without a husband.
Ooh,
Fight
man.
Come on,
Bang,
Brooklyn.
bang.
What's her name? Brooklyn. Hey, sis.
I
yeah.
gotta follow her. I gotta
Hey,
follow her.
come on now.
She's with the shits. She's with all the shits.
Listen,
Yeah.
Mm.
I love you and I don't even know you.
you
God
don't
damn
even
it.
know her. Some
Shit
people
me.
would prefer a beautiful, 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 beautiful lie over the ugly truth. And so you really have to do that. Goes back to what we were saying earlier when we first got on here about you being honest and truthful and having integrity. And so if my son grows up and I call him and I say, let's say I need something, and he has a family and he doesn't put his family first, I am going to curse him out because they come first. I'm not raising my son to be a husband for me. I'm raising my son to be a husband to someone else, to be a father for someone else. And a lot of times in certain families, and it's not all women, there are some women out here that are really, really doing good who are able to kind of see like, no, son, you can't do that. Do that first for that girl. That girl, has feelings or whatever. What they do is some women, what they'll do is they will take all their fair relationships and try to create a being based off of who they wanted their partners to be. And you cannot do that. And then you'll see them as they get old, become bitter. And I'm your mama. I get it. I understand it. We get it. And especially a lot of Caribbean families too. I'm your mama. I get it. But that man also has a wife. He also has kids. So how do you come and be a priority over someone else? Like a kid, right? A kid doesn't have anything to do with how you were raised and stuff like that. They're innocent. Same thing with certain men. My father was like a really, really, really active person in my life, and he taught me a lot of things that I didn't learn from my mother. But at the end of it, he would say, "Hey, no, listen, I can't be first either. You have a husband. You need to go out and focus on your husband, not focus on me." And so a lot of times people don't. We in our community and Black people, we don't like hearing the truth. We like, oh no, that's not right. F you, whatever, Dr. B. I get it. Be mad. But at the end of the day, shout out to Brooklyn. Hey sis, I see you. I like that.
yeah.
Let me see. What would I say to that comment? Yeah, shout out to Brooklyn.
Facts.
I think I want to say I've shared this on the show before. Like I said earlier, me and Biggz, proud members of the Mama's Boys Club.
Facts.
I can remember like in my late teens, early 20s when I really was starting to get into like dating, but as a young adult. And there was definitely some pushback from my mom because I've always attracted older women because I was always tall, deep voice, had facial hair early. So I always attracted older women. So when that thing started to become like more of a regular thing, my mom definitely gave me some pushback. I'm not sure if I want to go to the whole she's making me her husband thing. But I know it was definitely like a adjustment period that I had to go through with my mom when I reached the young adult status, and you know, women was coming every which way. She definitely was a little uncomfortable with it.
Bro, I've been. You wanna talk? You don't wanna go there? I'll go there for you with my mom. Okay, I'll go there. I've been on a date in a cab, and then I get a. Yes, I'm this old. I get the pager going off on the SkyTel. I get to the payphone, call. I need you to come back. It's emergency. What's the problem? It's emergency. Jump in the cab, go back. I need you to go to the store for me.
Yeah, yeah.
And you know I'm on a date. And you know I'm on a date. You're just doing this to show your power. So yeah, there's a lot of pushback on that because again, what's my word? Trauma.
Right.
They deal with trauma too. We come from an era where therapy and healing yourself is frowned upon.
Right.
So she lived her whole adult life not having to admit that she's wrong, not having to work on herself. And you had me, and I've been doing everything because unbeknownst to me, I've been taught to be servitude. And now you see me out here trying to clap some other buns, and now she's the op because she's pulling me away from you.
Yeah, yeah.
It just is what it is, bro. It is you don't want to say it, and I get it. I'll say it, bro. My mom definitely was trying to keep me around as the husband. Definitely.
My mom might pop up in one of my dreams and shit. Like, what you said, little motherfucker?
Nah, I'm good. I talk to my mom in my dreams every fucking day. It's okay. We curse each other out every other fucking week. Still to this day. God rest her soul.
My mother was real sensitive. She would get sensitive if she heard me say something like that.
Really?
Nah, my mom would just have to deal with it. My mom was an Aries woman. She'll play that all night shit, and then I call her bullshit. Snap like Thanos. It's over.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like, I think it's very, that is, very important. My mother raised me the same ways. I'd be, be like, I'm gonna get you something like, the holidays and Christmas, is coming up, and I tell her, hey, is there anything maybe you want for Christmas? She'd be like, oh, no, don't worry about me. Focus on, your family and stuff like that. And I think, that's very important. How you raise each other, and trauma is definitely a way people the parents will also try to keep you there just because for their sake, because they don't they
Your crutch.
Yep.
Exactly
Your
that was
crutch.
the word I was looking for. It's exactly the word I was looking for. Okay, on to another topic, you guys. Is gender stereotype important?
Oh. May I?
I need a little more context for that one before I.
I already know what he's saying because I live this every day. I already know what he's saying.
Okay.
Are you talking about so to be clear, are you saying that is it uber important to have gender roles magnified and everybody know everything definitively?
Yes.
Okay, so unbeknownst to your population, I do security now, and I work for 2 gay clubs. So all I see is this every day. I see binary, non-binary, them, they, us, we, us, apostrophe, mama say, mama sa, mama kusa. I see the shit every fucking night. I understand that you want to be seen and acknowledged. I respect that, and I love all that. I just don't get what is the point of the movement from the standpoint that I have an issue with people that, how can I put this? You need to be seen all the time. Look at me. I've never liked those kind of people. Has shit to do with gender, race, creed, sexual preference. Maybe because I'm big as shit and I naturally stand out, I have a reverse hatred for it because I can't hide. So when people look for reasons to be seen and you're doing nothing, I'm just like, what's the point? It seems quite thirsty to me. And you have people that want to argue toe to toe about binary, non-binary, everything. How about we just concentrate on people being good people? And we just take it from there, because you got a lot of people. Okay, this is your gender role, this is your binary. You're still a douchebag. How about you work on stop being a douchebag, and then we can have a conversation. These are the conversations I have with my people in that community every fucking night. I gotta go back there tonight. This is what we do in downtime. I swear to God. Like if you could record the shit we talk about, that's a podcast and a movie in itself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dr. B, I'll take the last one.
I was going to go in a different direction. I was going to talk about like, gender stereotypes and the fact of like women do this, men do that.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So for me, like, I think it's important to acknowledge where we are in society because sometimes people expectations, everybody get to live their life. Let me just say that. How you run your household is how you run your household. But you cannot negate the way society is structured and built up. We would have to literally completely get rid of history. So women are expected to be a certain way. Men are expected to be another way. And a lot of it comes from like nature, right? But then also nurture too. I think it's important to know them, but that doesn't mean that you as an individual have to abide by them if it doesn't work for your life. Like for me in my household, right? I grew up, men take out the trash, right? The boys take out the trash. However, if I'm here alone and the trash is smelling, I'm not going to wait till he get home and be like, no, because I'm a woman, I take out the trash. I'm going to take out the damn trash. Number two,
some women,
right? Cooking and dishes. If the kids need to eat, just because I'm the woman in the household, that doesn't mean that he can't cook and make sure the kids are good. So yes, it's important to know what roles, but that doesn't mean you always have to abide by them if it doesn't work for you and your family.
Some women just call Mr. Willie to come take out the trash. I'm just saying.
Well, I say it all the time on the show. Me personally, I'm team 50-50. And what I mean by team 50-50 is as a man, I'm going to do my part as a man as long as you as a woman is going to do your part. I am not a fan of anybody that just wants one person to do everything. I'm just not a fan of that way of thinking at all. I feel like we all bring something to the table, no matter the gender. And when we have these conversations about what our strengths and what our weaknesses are, that's what we should be focusing on. So if, like for example, me and Dr. B, we're very like-minded in the way how we think. So when we started podcasting together, it was this automatic chemistry, right?
Quick.
But you don't always have that chemistry with everybody. Some things you have to work on. But I think that mindset of, I hate to use the word gender roles, but that's just what it is. Like I'm not out here trying to do everything that women do. I like to learn things and have a variety of skill sets. But I know at my core, me as a man, I'm a protector.
Provider.
I guess you could put the provider word in there, but I don't like to use that word either. But you could put that word in there. That stuff comes very natural to me. It's just in me. So I don't have a problem with the whole gender role thing. I don't like to use the word, but I don't have a problem with it.
But again,
go ahead, bro.
Again, like I say on a lot of things that happen in the world today, you are just like I am, and everybody just about on this panel is. We're all dinosaurs, bro. The way we think and the way we grew up, that world is dead. We are just waiting for the comment to move us off Earth, bro. I keep trying to tell you that shit. You got all types of shit out here. You got niggas who do the most ancient shit and they revel in it and it's cool. You got women who don't want a good dude. They want a fucking a nigga that's probably gonna go to jail by next summer, and they're cool with that. They're good with that. Or if you get a good dude that's about something with a 9 to 5, women end up clowning that nigga. Because it's all in what the stereotypes of what the world and the norm is now. And people are living and getting a tutelage from your fucking tablet as opposed to your elders. Like, remember when we was looking at the club and the grandma tried to bag me? You remember that shit? You remember my face, bro? A whole grandma with 3 grandkids trying to bag me, and she's 38. I'm like, how the fuck you got 3 grandkids at 38? Yeah. As soon as you took the diaper off, you was busting it open. What the fuck happened? Like, come on, B. There's no all the grandmothers. There's no big mamas watching the kids anymore. Big mamas is in the club twerking to Lizzo. And you just got to understand that everything is different now.
Yeah, you can understand it, but I
Mhm.
think anything with a stereotype can be also problematic too, right? It's like how
Yeah,
we're all black, right? We go out, or black people do this, or black people do that, or
I
even
get
men,
that
oh,
all the
women
time.
do this,
Yeah.
women do that. If you have that type of mindset, you're not able to grow. And if you ain't able to grow, you see the world through one lens and one lens only.
But
And
but
so
again, but again, sis, who
mhm,
was helping us in our maturation of growing?
that's
It
true.
was Big Mama. It was the elders. They
Yeah.
was
Big
the ones
Mama
that
and
when we
Uncle Willie.
started wilding, they
Really.
pull us back. Uncle Willie, good old Uncle Earl. They
Yeah.
pull us back and got us right.
Yeah.
It might have had a little twang
Cousin
on it because they
Bruce.
lived their life. It might have that message might have came with a Budweiser smell, but you got the message.
Mine was old English. Thank you very much.
Oh,
Was
you're
So
so bougie.
mine's was
I
Budweiser.
apologize. I love a good malt liquor. Yes,
Mine's was
out of
Budweiser.
here.
Budweiser.
Yeah, yeah. Come on, man.
Yeah.
That double man ain't stopping that Budweiser breath.
I get what you guys saying though. I, I'm a man. I wouldn't want my woman taking out the trash though. Yeah, just like
Nah, it's not
April
happening.
said, some women, yeah, some women would just yeah, if it was sitting there all day, and you're the only one in the household, hey, maybe but if I'm in there, no, I don't want you taking out the trash can, and yeah, how the world has changed, and it's so different, but at the same time, let's let everyone try different things. Like
mm,
Billy was saying, he want to do stuff that he never done, just not just more so in a general, but at the same time, far as definitely in relationships, and obviously society is telling you so many different things now, but definitely in a relationship, I'm more so like, okay, I take out the trash, I'm the provider, stuff like that. Yes, she cook, but I can cook too. So, but I
Fact.
also think it's, important that, and since, we raising a little boy now, just want to make it, hey, look here, I'm daddy, and this what we do. And when you get older, you take out the
Hmm.
trash and stuff like that, and so hey, that's
Yes,
that's
That's
what
a
sir.
whole
I
fact.
mhm.
That's a whole fact.
okay. All right, you guys. We're gonna move on, you guys, to our next topic, you guys. Is it really necessary to know everything from your partner's previous relationship?
Love this question. Love it.
Woo!
Love this question.
Yes and no. Yes and
Okay.
no. I
Mm.
need to know if you have video from West Coast Productions, so I so I could prepare myself. But anything short of documented proof, I don't really need to know.
Mm.
I really don't need to know because it's an old Chris Rock joke. Men go off of ego. Now us men who would tell you we don't have no ego, that's a lie. We don't live extensively just off ego, but we still have an ego. We get out of bed, we hustle, we go make money. That's ego driven. That's just the way we're wired. It's an old Chris Rock joke. It don't matter what number of women say it's gonna be too much for our ego if we really like you. How many men you been with? Two? Oh, I guess that's the way you was raised. It doesn't fucking matter. Any dick that came before me is frowned upon. So that's just the way it is. I'm telling you what it is. Women not so much are wired like that. Men are wired solely like that. Okay, that's where the whole term from egomaniacal come from. We're based off ego. You're just not supposed to let it consume you all the time. But the ego is still there. So anything short of I'm fucking Dr. B and Billy anytime he want can go on Pornhub and see Dr. B's greatest hits. Anything short of that, I don't need to know. I
That
don't
is
need to know.
fake news.
She said fake news. Listen. Let me find out. There's a Dr. B fucking what's the shit poles with holes. Let me find out there's a Dr. B compilation. Let
No,
me fucking find out.
I think the important things when we talk about like the word everything, the important things like, do you have a criminal background? Did you have a stalker back in the day? Do you have any kids? Right? Everything. How did that work? Previous relationships, like you can learn a lot just by looking at patterns. Like I teach my clients, like don't get so focused on the experience. Look at the pattern. Look at the theme. So if in every relationship, the person that you're with talked about, oh, everyone that I've been with has cheated on me. Well, that's a pattern. Like, what's going on with that? So I don't necessarily think you have to tell them everything. However, you do have to tell them everything of the important stuff and whatever's important for you. Finances are huge, kids, religious background, any type of, like, have you been to prison? Are you a
But shouldn't I'm mad at, are you a serial killer? You're dating Dexter? Real question though. Shouldn't all that, but see, and this might be because I'm a dinosaur. It all goes back to being a dinosaur and the way I think. Shouldn't these questions be asked on the first fucking date or the first meeting?
That's where I was about to go with it. That's why
you're not asking this on the first date.
I'm asking before the date. I'm doing all.
Well, yeah, the research. You got to ask these questions before. Listen. You ain't getting no bite of no fucking steak until I know at least the top 10 things I need to know. You're not getting a fish stick, not even a fucking fish stick. You ain't getting shit. I need to know this, that, and the third. Okay. That's just me. Yeah. If it means we're not going on a date, fuck it. Oh well. I'll take myself out.
I'm sorry, Dre. This finger right here, we call it
the church finger. Church finger. Yeah.
So this is how we restore order when we start going down this rabbit hole. But
and it's usually my fault. It is usually my fault. It is. Accountability. Accountability. I'll take accountability.
But to answer the question, me personally, I can only speak from my experience. I do like to ask questions. But I've learned certain questions you don't want to know the answer to, so I avoid those type of questions. Like any sexual questions that I ask somebody in those early stages of getting to know them is not like super specific questions. It's more of opening the door to like things you might be into sexually. Like I don't want to know about you swinging from the ceiling and it was 20 dudes in a bukkake, which like I don't want to know none of that information. But if there's certain things that you're into that's important to you, I wouldn't like to know that. And as far as like your actual relationships in the past, the question I always ask is like, why did you guys break up? Like that's always my question I always like lead with. And also like to Dr. B's point, criminal history, violent history, like things of that nature. I definitely like to ask questions, but I think you got to definitely be careful. I think it's more of an observation thing. Like you ask the questions, you get the answers, and then it becomes an observation thing after that for me.
Yeah. Just like you guys were saying, shouldn't it be asked on the first date though? Like, I think it would be weird. You go on a date with someone and be like, are you a serial killer? Like, have you killed anybody? Like all these. I
watch a lot of CSI. I know. I'll figure it out.
You really do though. But like, you got to ask questions though. I mean, yes, kids and stuff like that. But past relationships though, as long as they ain't causing me no problems, as long as they ain't about to come over there, harm us or anything like that, we straight. You feel me? I don't need to know how many times you was bent over, in the bathroom or anything like that. Like we all straight, like So
I don't want to know. I don't. The visual hurts more than the audio. I don't want to know. I don't want to know.
I always say, man,
listen. I'm trying to tell you. My girl I'm dealing with could be like, I've sucked at least 5-6 dicks before yours. That'll hurt, but it won't hurt. But if I see you suck one dick that's not mine, I'm in my feelings. It's over. I can't even. Who raised you? I can't even be around you. I don't even want you breathing the same air I breathe. The air's contaminated. I don't want it. You got dick vid. You got dick vid 19. That shit all in the air. I don't want that. I don't want that shit.
And it's a myth to think that women like community peen. We don't like community peen either. If I go out and everybody say that we don't like that either.
Sis. Yeah. Sis, speak for your motherfucking self.
I was about to say,
okay? Speak for your motherfucking self. That's ovarian thinking. Yeah, son. You think you're self-internalizing. Yeah. You meant to say you don't like community peen.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, the individual. There's some women out here playing Monopoly, going straight to the community chest. You hear me? I'm trying to tell you. I'm just telling you.
Dre. I'm sorry, Dre.
Hey,
I'm
I
sorry.
love it.
We apologize.
I love it. I
I
love it.
I was dropped on my head a couple of times when I was young. I can't get
That's
right.
true, though. That's true.
That
Biggs
is true.
forgot. We not on our podcast. We on the 11:30
You know
podcast.
how this is, B. This is the same way in basketball. Once the ball's up in the air, it's time to perform. I'm sorry. This is what I do.
I dig it. I dig it. I dig it. Okay. We're gonna move on, you guys, to the last topic. You guys, before we roll on out of here. A couple of days ago, I know, yeah, we still talking about it. Ever since earlier this year. But yes, Will Smith has a new movie coming out called Emancipation. I hope I'm saying that right. Are you guys interested in? And also, what you guys think about his apology slap to Chris Rock?
I can say to all of you, there is no part of me that thinks that was the right way to behave in that moment. It's all fuzzy. I've reached out to Chris, and the message that came back is that he's not ready to talk, and when he is, he will reach out. So I will say to you, Chris, I apologize to you. My behavior was unacceptable, and I'm here whenever you're ready to talk.
Many fans speculated it was Will's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, who encouraged him to react physically.
After Jada rolled her eyes, did she tell you to do something? No. It's like, I made a choice on my own, from my own experiences, from my history with Chris. Jada had nothing to do with it. I'm sorry, babe.
I'll go last on this one.
I'll go.
I was about to say this. I was about to say the same thing. Go ahead.
I think because of his prior image, the fact that he could do something like that not only shocked people, but shocked him in itself. And if you've never read his book, I encourage everybody to read it. But if you read it, you really get an understanding of what happened and what he was going through. And a lot of people think we as human beings that we have all of this self-control and it doesn't matter. But let me tell you, people will fight over smaller stuff. If you say your mama to somebody, that's fighting words to some people. You know what I mean? You say one bad thing to a person can snap, and no one knows somebody's breaking point. There's context in that. For me, I think he is a great actor. I think as far as his apology goes, he doesn't need to apologize to me. He needs to apologize to the person that he slapped, and that needs to be in between them. I don't have a problem with supporting his movie. I would just say I hope that he gets his healing, whatever that may look like, not only individually, but also within his marriage. And I don't think he should be penalized for the remainder of his life because his image has been tarnished. But nobody talks about him in Men in Black. You know what they talk about now? They talk about the slap. That's what they talk about. They talk about him and his wife. They talk about that. And so I can't even imagine how embarrassing it must be for all parties if they are embarrassed, but even the person that was victimized on the stage, right, with Chris Rock. But hey, listen, I don't see anything wrong with a person apologizing and people supporting him if that's what you want. And if you don't want to support him, then don't support his movies. And it's just that.
Okay.
Y'all real quiet.
Yeah, we got a church finger.
I mean,
got a church finger.
Go ahead, bro.
Okay. I watched like 3 interviews with Will since the trailer of the movie came out, and I'm like a big interview guy. I feel like you get a little more substance when you can actually watch an interview. Even though I have peeked at Will Smith's book, but what I gathered from his interviews when he was asked the question about the whole Oscar slap, he basically was like, "Listen, man, I ain't gonna say it again. Don't play with me, man." That's basically what he said in his interviews. He said he said the only thing that really made him apologetic, that really made him like, all right, I fucked up. He said when he got home after the whole fiasco was over, He says he has a 9-year-old nephew that just like adores him. And of course, that night was his big night. He was going to win the Oscar. It was all about Will. And he said when he got to the crib, his nephew, who's 9 years old, had the Oscar, was all happy, and he asked Will, "Yo, why did you slap that man?" And Will said, in his mind, he made a justification for it to everybody else, but he just couldn't do it to the 9-year-old. So that was the aha moment that he needed for himself. But in the moment, he said he'd been a public figure basically his whole life. He's been on TV,
Yes.
and there's been this narrative out there that he's this soft
Yes.
dude.
That he saw.
And he said he just had enough of that.
Just not. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna preface my statement by saying my panel mates are great people and they're very nice. But for every yin, there's a yang, and I am the yang. First thing I'm gonna say, I find it hilarious that a man has a movie coming out named Emancipation, and he needs to be emancipated himself from his relationship. Second thing I'm gonna say, that apology is a piece of shit. I said it before and I say it again.
Bro.
He only did what? He only did it because it was Chris Rock from Brooklyn. If it was Dwayne The Rock Johnson from Miami, he would have chilled. He would have. No, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not to say Brooklyn. It was Chris Rock. It was Dwayne The Rock Johnson. If I would have said the same thing, he'd have said his ass right there. Most he would have did was cursed me out from his seat. He ain't walking up on me and slapping me. You out your fucking mind. He chose his target. That was a bully moment. That's all the fuck it was.
Okay.
And I listen, man. We be outside. We see motherfuckers who target motherfuckers because they feel like they can.
Right.
That's all the fuck that was. That's all it was. And like Chris Rock said, it was a fucking G.I. Jane joke. It wasn't even that serious for that. The shit he said before, okay, we might have got it popping, but again, you just went up there and you stunned it, and you fucked up a night for a lot of other black people and made the onus on you. You put a black eye on the culture. So the apology was a piece of shit. Miss me with that apology, but I will say this: Will Smith, I like him. I still got love for him as an actor. I will probably go see the movie or stream it. It's not on my first. It's not on my to-do list first and foremost. I'll say that.
You gonna bootleg it?
I'm not gonna bootleg it, but the streams will come to me one way or another.
Okay.
I know somebody that knows somebody that knows something with pliers. I'll figure
Don't
it
tell
out.
yourself. This is public.
I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. What me? I ain't do nothing. My fingerprints is on nothing. I'm on nothing. I am a child of God. I'm just moving through the movie.
Yeah, his apology didn't seem, real sincere, and he kind of like was like, "Yo, I was going through a whole lot, and he said what he said, and was like, okay." But just like Billy was saying, when he realized, he was talking to that 9-year-old girl, that was it. But Will Smith, I think a lot of people are not gonna. Some people are not gonna support him. Some people will. But the whole apology, I think it was, trash. It was just something, I don't think he really wanted to talk about it. But obviously that's like the number one question when you see Chris Rock or you see Will Smith.
That man to this day still get the shakes whenever a Tupac song come on. And it's oh shit. Oh shit.
Yo, I appreciate you guys coming through here on the podcast this week. Beyond 11:30, it was real fun, man. For real. Biggz, Dr. B, and my guy Billie G. Final thoughts, man. Any questions? Any shout outs? Any questions? Any questions? Anything you would like to say?
I just want to say I thank you from the bottom of my heart for allowing us to do what we do and come together and talk about the topics that you have on your podcast. Keep doing your thing. You and your beautiful fiance, your adorable son, even though we don't know them personally, it's always good to keep people within the community who are trying to better the community, one platform from another. I know a lot of people say, oh, we don't need another relationship thing, but not in the state of our community is going. We need all the advice and
That's
recommendations
right.
that we can
That's
get.
right.
So, brother, please keep doing your thing. And I just want to personally thank you for having me on and having my brothers on too. So,
I appreciate it. Definitely.
I'll say two things. I'll say my positive thing I want to say to you is your voice is needed and is welcomed. Keep doing what you do, bro. We need more positive figures that look like us. We need more melanated people that's doing the right thing, because all they show is us of the wrong thing. And personally, what I would like to say, my ain't shitness, because I got to give you something that ain't shit. To all the baby daddies who are mad, to all the baby fathers that's mad that I might know their baby mama a little too well, acknowledge me.
oh my God.
We the ones. We the ones.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm
All
talking
right.
about.
Mr. Billie G, as I always say, as I sign off on our podcast, make sure you tune in to Friends with Billy podcast, all things relationship, each and every Monday at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, 8:30 Eastern Time, and
8:30.
5:30 Pacific. We here for the growing and sexy, happy hour, and therapy all mixed in one. Make sure you tune in.
Hey, that's what's up, man. You guys got it for real. Friends with Billy, all things relationship. Links will be down below, man. Definitely subscribe and check them out. This was definitely a vibe, man. Appreciate you, Billy, Dr. B, and also Biggz, man. I definitely dig you for coming through here on the podcast. This was definitely dope. You guys, man, sit tight. We're gonna chop it up in just a bit, but we're gonna wrap up the show here this week on Beyond 1130. Appreciate everyone tuning in, and we can get this thing going on. All right. Appreciate everyone tuning in this week here on Beyond 1130. Great show. Once again, the links will be down below for everyone who's tuning in here on YouTube. Definitely subscribe and check out Friends with Billy, all things relationship, and follow them on social media. Yes, you guys, the second episode of Beyond 1130. I may drop an extra episode before the year is out. If not, we will see you guys in the new year in 2023 for real. But before we head on out of here, you guys, you know what time it is. Don't forget to follow the 1130 podcast on all social media platforms. Follow me on Twitter at the 1130 podcast. Like the 1130 podcast on Facebook, and if you haven't done so this entire episode, I don't know what you're waiting for. Definitely hit the subscribe button down below. Like it, leave a comment, and tell me what you guys want to hear us talk about on a future episode of Beyond 1130 and all that great stuff, man, for real. And also follow me on Instagram at the 1130 podcast _. All right, man, for real. This was a great one. Definitely, the links will be down below for merchandise. Get at it, man, for real. This was a dope one. Appreciate everyone joining me. For myself, Dre, aka Dre on Wheels, Billie G, my guy Biggz, and Dr. B. We out, man.